Hello again and welcome to Ag Life. I'm Gerard Lampow. On the menu, more on the Canadian Agriculture Partnership. We learn about the importance of water testing, plus a chat about older dogs on the farm. First, getting back to stakeholders is critical, especially when everyone's been so busy with harvest and foraging. I had the chance to visit with Saskatchewan cattlemen as fall meetings are being held in our area.
We're only willing to put in funding if the industry is willing to put in the money.
The Cattlemen's Association is the voice for producers. Producers pay what's called a levy on every head of cattle that's sold. Members of District 9B met in Paradise Hill for the fall supper meeting and the annual update.
And every year at the fall meetings, we just want to prove to them what the money is going towards, what it's funding.
Dean Moore, who ranches with his family in the Frenchman Butte area, also heads up District 9B.
We've got a brand new facility down in Saskatoon that we just put forward, the Livestock Forage Center of Excellence.
Moore points out the government will support the endeavors of the industry, but they will not match those efforts unless the industry takes the lead.
When we stepped up with some big donations, the government was very willing and happy to match those donations, or even bigger ones, to help with those programs to go forward.
Moore admits the season has been busy for everyone, and he's also putting in late nights on the combine. Still, he wants producers to have their say.
The reason we have these meetings is we want producers to come out to voice their opinions, to voice their reasons, or even just to contact me on the phone. That's my job, is to represent our district and to take things to the government or to our meetings so that we can get resolutions and get things solved, and we're here to work for the producers.
The strychnine issue is still a thorny subject.
We're trying to get up as many producers as we can to speak up and take the online survey for it through our website, Sask Beef, just to get our voice heard, because it could be, the government has their mindset that they might cancel us again, and we all know what happened 15 years ago when they did cancel it the first time. We got a big gopher problem that it took a long time to solve until we got the strychnine back to use again. And
2 resolutions from the meeting will go forward to the AGM in January, calling for a government alternative to the Livestock Loan Guarantee Program and giving brand inspectors access to CFIA tag info when theft is suspected. Well, time now to have a look at our events calendar. If you want to get your event in, just send me an email, glampow@newcap.ca. And still to come, rural crime is in focus as communities are pulling together. Do stay with us.
This segment of Ag Life is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Webb's Machinery, your New Holland dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, and Lamont.
Welcome back. Well, funding is being made available for agriculture and as well these projects to secure the future of the industry. And there's training available under the federal provincial program. Let's have a look.
We have a list of eligible courses on our website.
For Saskatchewan, the Canadian Agriculture Partnership is a $388 million program to support agriculture over the next 5 years, especially in areas like water and environmental sustainability.
I think what they've done is they fine-tuned what used to be the Growing Forward program, so that in this kind of round 3 of funding, we've got focused funding for sustainable water. So we've got opportunities for producers to develop new water sources, be it dugouts, pipelines, or new water wells.
There's funding, for example, to decommission old water wells. Many producers are pleasantly surprised by these developments.
It's a 5-year program. This is the first year of those 5 years, so we're going out and actively promoting this program to producers so that they are aware.
Johnson was one of the guests at the recent Saskatchewan Cattlemen's meeting in Paradise Hill. She says there's also scope for training.
We also have what's called the ASK program. It's an agriculture skills and training program. So producers can go onto our website and find out what training is available, and most of it is focused on farm management, and they have funding available for producers to go and take training to improve their farm management skills.
The Canadian Agriculture Partnership is an investment in the future.
Well, it's an opportunity for the government to invest in sustainability. So whether it's, purchasing a solar panel to help efficiencies in cattle watering systems, or just to make farmers' production systems more efficient.
Well, Lakeland College Vermilion has achieved a huge accomplishment. Elise Darwish tells us it's one that hasn't been done by a post-secondary institution.
The college is the first in Alberta to attain the Verified Beef Production Plus certification. Being recognized by this national on-farm safety program means a lot.
The certification means that we're a sustainable farm who is meeting all of the codes that need to be met in order to raise animals properly. So as far as medical treatments, etc., that all we're up to code and meeting that. So
lots of work and preparation from everyone involved in the program went into making sure they were able to earn VBP Plus status, and it paid off.
Producer, there are now feedlots that want those animals to take them through the whole production system in that same manner. So verified beef production feedlots will be asking for those cows. So it opens up markets for us for sure.
Students like Keegan Miller are very proud to be a part of a program that is being held at the highest standards.
That agriculture can be seen by the public for what it is and for proper practice. So going forward, we know what we need to do for VBP Plus in the community, and we can use that to become a stronger ag group.
Lakeland is very progressive and hopes to set the example for future producers and continue to influence students going through the program. For Primetime Local News, I'm Elise Darwish.
Well, the scourge of rural crime on the prairies is having one upside. I find out how one community has been supporting each other.
The crime wave we've talked about out in this area, we've been hit quite a bit with theft along with a lot of the neighbors.
Apart from trying to produce food, rural Albertans have struggled with criminals visiting their property. God George says the Marwayne area has been rallying.
We had a set of individuals in our yard at about 4 in the morning one day, and we had a group chat, and the first truck was there 5 minutes after I called for help. And we never caught those ones. And then just last week, good friends down the road, we actually caught 6 of them.
The community has been taking responsibility to look out for each other.
With the group chat and just being neighbors helping neighbors, and I think we're starting to stick together. Everyone's kind of had it out here. It's been enough. It's not really the RCMP's fault. They're really understaffed. I feel for those people when they come out. The best they can get there is 20, 30 minutes before they're even on your doorstep, right? People are mad at the cops, but I don't think it's their fault. They're doing a good job.
The police remain vigilant, and even with the harvest rush on, George admits to being pulled over in the early hours of the morning. It helps to know your officers.
Well, we've had meetings. We're working with the police officers. It's pretty sad that we know the officers personally and by name.
If anything, he points out that neighbors and communities need to support each other.
Everyone's just got to stick together, get to know your cops, get to know the legal system, what the rules are.
Welcome back. So what's in the water is important for us as well as our furry friends, and I find out that it's more than just keeping the water bowl clean.
Because the lab will actually measure that number directly. What's in your water? Is that water good for humans? Is it good for livestock?
Jennifer Hayden has been with the Ministry of Agriculture for 9 years and is based at the North Battleford office. Knowing what's in the water is a critical concern.
What does it contain for minerals or metals or things like sulfate, which are not good for cattle?
If water quality is poor, then that affects the steak on your plate from day one.
We want to make sure water quality is good so that those cows get a good start. They've got good feed intake, good growth, good immunity, and good production.
Officers from the ministry traveled the province testing water sources.
So we have water meters that we can take out and help producers. Specifically, they measure electrical conductivity, which will give us an indication of what total dissolved solids, which is a parameter that's probably familiar to most farmers and ranchers. So that's everything in the water that's salt, mineral, metals.
The measure of total dissolved solids, or TDS, will determine whether further testing may be needed at the provincial lab in Regina.
Producers should be testing. They should know, they should have a benchmark idea of what their TDS is, so that total dissolved solids, and what that's made up of. So is it sodium chloride? Is it salt that's there? Is it sulfate?
The ministry has numerous resources available to help producers, and water testing is recommended at least once a year.
Ag Knowledge Center is 1-866-457-2377. We have some good resources on our website, saskatchewan.ca/agriculture. And specifically the North Battleford office, they can call 306-446-7962.
So lots of information there for us to be a part of. Well, when we come back, it's all about women in agriculture and a little tidbit about family life too. Do stay with us. Once again, thank you very much for staying with us on Ag Life. The events part of our show is very important. And again, if you want to get in on that, it's glampow@newcap.ca. The other thing, of course, is we love to get out in the community and meet with agriculture producers. You met her husband earlier on in the show, and she's recently had a baby, so she didn't do too much on the combine this year. But that's not stopping her from being part of that harvest that almost wouldn't end until they finally got that crop in the bin and getting into their fall season and fall chores and that. Let's meet Marwayne producer Courtney George.
So before I had Rhett, I would operate the machinery. I'd drive the sprayer and the grain cart and the baler. But this year I kind of got some days off from that. So I'll fill in where needed, but only places that Rhett and I can both go. He's only 3 months old, so next year he'll be able to come and sit in there with me. But this year we took some time off, so we make meals and we run trucks around and pick up loose ends.
Yeah. And I mean, there's still so many things that need to get done. This year, there's really been the challenge of the excess moisture in the field. And I mean, your husband Garth has been pulling some late hours, coming home 3 in the morning, like so many other producers, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really long harvest season this year. So just making sure that everybody is looked after and that everybody's got their meals and is taken care of is kind of my job this year.
But tell me some of the bigger picture about yourself and of course the bigger picture, women involved in agriculture, because there's so many different aspects, so many different job roles and functions there.
Garth and I 3 years ago started a custom spraying business where I was the main operator until I got pregnant. But but we can do everything that the men can do on the farm, and I think that just digging in and learning that those tasks is our job to keep everything going. And
there's a special kind of sensitivity still, and some people will fault me for saying it that way, but I mean, you hinted at it, and right now your role is still there in terms of the meals in the fields, you're home taking care of the family, but that too is a critical part of women involved in agriculture. Even I see some women who are pregnant and running the combine.
Oh yeah, if I was pregnant, I would still be in the machinery, but it's hard to bounce around a little car seat in the, absolutely. But definitely, being that farming is so family orientated, it is very important to you're grooming your next generation of farmers. You're getting them exposed, teaching them farm safety, you're making sure that they're, going to grow up and be safe where you're at. There's lots of moving parts out here, and it's your job to take care of that too.
Yeah, I was even out at one of the drying plants earlier on their grain terminals there, and I mean, I put on the hat and so on there. Yeah, and I mean, I respect safety, I respect the work that you guys do. Tell me about that aspect of it, because sometimes folks don't get that in fact, this is your home, these are your kids, this is part of your livelihood, and you guys practice safety as a way of life. Tell me about that.
Well, you can't get away from it. I mean, you have to, from a young age it starts. It's definitely, you have to, if you're going to have children around this big machinery, they have to know where to look, and it's really important. It can go south in such a hurry.
That is really always the concern there, but I mean, still, it's your home. I mean, even for folks who are not involved in agriculture, sometimes these things just happen like that, accidents as it were, but you guys live it every day.
Yeah, we do live it every day. We try to make sure that everything is as safe as possible for everybody out here, and yeah.
It's pretty much that's it is. One of the other things that people talk about, women are in agriculture in terms of in the field, in the family situation, that kind of thing. But crossing into the boardroom, I mean, some women are agronomists and so on, but actually crossing into the boardroom and, making those kinds of decisions. And what are your thoughts about, how you feel about that?
I recently managed the Co-op Agro Center in Lloyd, so I definitely had both parts of that, where you handled the business side of it, and we have lots of great ideas too, and it's definitely not just a man's world out there, and agriculture there's more and more women all the time coming up in this industry, and it's exciting, and I'm totally on board with that.
In terms of bringing up your youngsters to get that understanding, because you got two boys at the moment there,
yeah.
And it's a challenge.
To balance it all, it's just a balancing act, and I mean, it's not just in agriculture. Being a mom everywhere is a balancing act, but here too it is.
I get the sense that he wants to say something. I mean, you're into hockey, are you?
No, I'm into football.
Football?
I play for the Colts Lloyd Minister. We have been undefeated for
Look at you.
2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is super. So what's this season looking like for you guys?
I'm hoping we're going to win. We've won all our games so far. So I'm thinking it's going to be a good season for us.
Yeah. Who's like your toughest competition?
Cold Lake, I would say.
Cold Lake. You got anything you want to tell them while you're talking on the television here?
Watch out, practice hard.
Courtney, you've raised this is an awesome youngster here already.
Thank you.
Yeah. I tell you indeed, and I thought he played hockey. He loves the football. And Kate George and the Lloydminster Colts, they actually beat Cold Lake in their recent matchup. So there's some sports in your ag, if you please, there. And of course, Kate's mom, Courtney George, there, raising a winning family. All about the women in agriculture. And as you can see, they're certainly a part of the community. Well, this is Ag Life. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, when we come back, we're taking care of the older pets on the farm. Ag Life continues after this break. Thanks a whole lot for staying with us here on Ag Life. And of course, if you got a story idea, we'd love to hear from you. You can drop us a note at my email there, glampow@newcap.ca. Well, tell you what, this is a story that really pulls at the heartstrings. In fact, we've had them from when they were pups, when they were small. We love them. And it's hard to admit that those guys, they've gotten bigger, but they are getting older. I meet a mature pet, you would put it that way, who's getting ready for yet another winter.
I'm looking for fleas.
Meet Murphy. He's a 10-year-old golden retriever. His owner, Dr. Corin Berg, admits he has slowed down compared to 5 years ago, but the biggest thing is he has put on a few more pounds.
So weight control and weight management is a big part of what we strive to do with dogs like Murphy. The other thing is to look at diets that potentially contain supplements that can be good for joint health. And there are a number of really good diets on the market that can help these guys access some of those products to keep their joints healthy.
Berg has switched to treating smaller animals in the last few years. He says sometimes so much attention is paid to the livestock that older cats and dogs on the farm may get left out.
Going into winter, one of the real common things that a lot of owners will tell us is, boy, they really slowed down this past winter. They're not as active as they were, especially for some of these working dogs that are actually out helping herd cattle.
Berg says arthritis in these older pets is a big issue. Also, the cold will affect an acreage pet even more as we get into winter when compared to a city pet.
Farm cats are very important as a method of rodent control, so they need to be able to move, and older cats, like older dogs, will exhibit signs of arthritis. It's just cats are much more, they won't show as many overt signs as dogs will. They will hide those problems a lot more than a dog.
The tick season is almost at an end, but joints and teeth still need to be checked. Fleas could also overwinter on pets, so an external parasite control is recommended. Internal parasite control or a fall deworming is also critical. Vaccines, especially rabies, need to be up to date for the acreage pet, as they are also exposed to wildlife. But the hardest question is admitting when the quality of life has been compromised.
We have this discussion with owners almost every week that, if it's just something that a dog is a little bit uncomfortable, or there's things that we can do to alleviate some of the discomfort that's associated with getting older, we're all for doing the things that we can to just ease their pain, keep them comfortable, but inevitably, the time will come.
Diet, exercise, and a yearly exam, especially for Murphy, remain the best recourse. Well, that's a wrap on this week's show. As I said, that's a story that really pulls at the heartstrings. They're tough decisions to make. Thanks again for staying with us on Ag Life. Now, if you've got a comment or story idea, well, we'd certainly love to hear from you. You can email us still at tvnews@newcap.ca. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram as well. We're there. But certainly, we'd love to hear from you. tvnews@newcap.ca. And of course, I've been giving you my own email address to glampow@newcap.ca. For you to be a part of the show there, or you can simply send us mail at 5026 50th Street, Lloydminster, Alberta, T9V1P3. So there you have all of our contact information there. On the show for next week, let me tell you a bit about that. Of course, the Stockade Roundup is on, and we'll have a hint at what's happening in terms of the Cattlemen Cattle Family of the Year Award. I'm Gerard Lampow for All Things Ag. See you next time.